Hey, what is up, guys? There's a lot of talk that is going around that LLMs are going to take away jobs, but I think there's a very good chance that LLMs can actually help you get your dream job. And that got me thinking that if I were to get a job as a software engineer in London, earning $40,000 per year, how would I ever start again? Like, how would that look like? I'll tell you the exact 3-step process to get a 40K job straight out of university before even graduating. So we're going to start off with a very high level, and slowly deep down as we go through the steps, we will go deep down into the application, the CVs, and to the actual job preparation itself. So the first step is all about research and planning. So you got to ask yourself, like, what is the minimum amount of salary that you actually need? Like, what is that you're actually looking for? So let's say your base expenses, rent, food, bills, etc., come to about $1,000, and then you say like you have another $1,000 for for your entertainment or whatever, or even if you want to go on holidays, and we add another $1,000, so that comes down to about $3,000. So let's just say, let's for argument's sake, that this is the like $3,000 per month after tax. That's the minimum salary that you're looking for. I mean, that's the aim. So sure, you would want to earn a lot more money, and ideally we'd be all earning like $1 million per month. But let's just start with this. Like, this is the minimum. Anything above the level is a bonus. So once you figure out the minimum amount that you need, and you sort of have an idea like, hey, this is the sort of job I like, this is the sort of job I want, then you start to find the sectors that are most high paying. In my experience, finance sector was paying the most amount of money relatively compared to other in the technology sector. I'm not saying in the other sector, technology, tech jobs are less paid for, but from what I found at that time, like finance was the one to go to straight out of university. So you started off with how much money you want, what is the ideal job that looks like, and then went deeper trying to figure out a sector. Now you're figuring out within that sector, what is the market trend analysis like? What kind of jobs are there in need? What's the availability like? So you look for, like in my case, I look for back-end engineers, front-end engineers, machine learning engineers, data scientists within the technology jobs in the financial sector. And I looked at the number of jobs that were available through different websites and collating, and then I realized, oh, okay, so there are a lot of demand for it, and there are clearly a lot of companies that are hiring for it as well. So this is a good sector to go into and get my dream job of at least a minimum of $3,000 per month. So once you have done the market trends, then what you do is you go straight into job posting summarizations. So let's just say that you wanted to do backend engineering, same as me. So I looked at all of the job listings for backend engineering and noted down everything that is. So including the requirements, the responsibilities, the role, how much pay they have, and all of those stuff. And I must have made like a list of at least 50 to 100 job postings and analyzed them. In all of these things, research and planning, LLMs can really help you in this and augmenting that. I firmly believe that LLMs are best used as tools, but not as a complete overhaul. Like, hey, here's the thing, you do it for me. You give the LLM the information from the web and different things, and it will help you, and it can transform that information in a way that is more useful to you. So for identifying high-paying sectors, doing the market trend analysis, the job posting summarization, like you could really expand your capability. You can really stand a really good holistic picture if you gather the data, feed it to the LLM, and just ask questions and refine your understanding. And that will hopefully get you a really big advantage. So September 2 is about skill acquisition and application preparation. So now we're starting to get more strategic and try to understand, like, okay, what are the skills that I have? What are the skills that I have currently right now? And what are the most common ones coming up from the 150 job postings? So for backend engineering, this could be like database management or any of those sort of things. I can figure out the common themes between all of these things and focus my energy and efforts in trying to learn and understand those. And it's literally as simple as just literally Googling like, hey, what is this? How do you get this? The best way to actually build your portfolio and to prove your confidence that you actually have the skill set for the job is by doing lots of projects. And literally just type in, let's say if it's just a Kubernetes thing that is being required on all of the backend engineering positions, then look for 10 Kubernetes projects and just pick one of the projects to run it through tutorial step by step, and there you go. There you have your portfolio. Also make sure that you would understand it as well, but as you do multiple projects, you will get a really good understanding, and it's actually much more fun than just going through courses, reading through materials, and watching videos. If you're applying for big companies, like really big companies, they would have some coding tests. And for coding tests, I would highly recommend something like cracking the algorithm. Just read through this once, get an idea, and start practicing coding questions. Make something could be database, like look for the job postings and see, solve coding questions that are related to those. Like, look, you can't solve every single coding question there is, because that will just waste a lot of time. So what you want to do is be strategic about it and solve those coding test questions that are related to the posting that you had. And because you've got a mass array of like job 50 posting, hopefully they should narrow it a little bit down on where you should be practicing those. And then you can even start having mock interviews and scenario practices. Like you can ask the LLMs to generate some random fake scenario, and it can ask you like, hey, how would you solve this problem or using this technique in this way? Or can this technology be applied in this way? Or how would you solve this problem? What are the drawbacks? What are the pros and cons of solving this problem in this way? So you can just start playing around with all of these different things, because once you start analyzing what you need, what are the skills that you need, once you start analyzing, you start doing practice tests, you start doing like coding questions, like automatically your mind will start trying to understand the material, and the skill set will automatically start to build in. Remember, you're starting as a fresh graduate, so you don't expect a fresh graduate to know every single thing. But if you can show the thought process and the thinking about, there's this problem, how would I solve it? This is exactly how I would go through it. Then you're well on your way to get a really good job posting, because at the end of the day, everything that we do in jobs is literally problem solving. And if you could demonstrate that through building projects and the way you speak and your process of actually solving information, you're very likely to get hired, even though you may not have as much experience as a senior or a mid developer. So the third final step, as you're going closer and closer now, you start preparing for applying for jobs now. So you target some specific companies and you target those only. Like there's two options, right? One is that you mass apply to everyone, everywhere, and hopefully you may apply to like 1,000 or 5,000 jobs. Out of them, maybe 10 would actually reply back to you. And out of the 10, like one would probably get an interview. Second option is that you make a really focused effort on those specific companies that you would like to work at, and focus yourself on that. Maybe you'll make like about 10, 15 applications, but those applications will be spot on, dead on, and you will know exactly what they're looking for. So this is what I did. I looked for some of the companies, like big companies, and I figured out, okay, what are the common things? What is the job? What is the company about? And I sort of tailored my CV to actually match what the company is actually doing. And so trying, like, let's say if I work in a database and I'm applying to a company that deals with finances, so I'll make sure, or either I'll try to do a project that is related to that company, or I'll change the usage of my thing to more like mold it or sort of paint the same skill in a way that that company is actually wants. So every single line in your CV should be tailored to that specific company, to that specific job post. Of course, you can use LLMs to actually help you with that, help up with different ideas. And of course, you can get like a massive company-wide research document, feed it to the LLM, and then you say, right, this is the company that I'm applying for. How can you tailor this specific project towards this company? Or what can I do? Do not lie on your CV. I don't advocate that, because you will get caught out. Just be honest. And if you don't know the skill, if you clearly recognize that there's a skill that is lacking, try to build up a project and just have it there and put it on your CV. It could be even something small, but just by doing it, but knowing that you attempted it, is still a lot better than just straight up lying on your CV. The next thing you would do is, once you've got the CV, then hopefully you would be, because you've tailored your CV and you're fine and you know exactly what the company's looking for and exactly the type of things that they want out of from the role. And hopefully you should start getting an interview calls. And that's where the interview preparation comes in, that again, you generate a list of potential questions. And like my biggest advice is like, just speak to the employees, reach them out to LinkedIn. Like 99, the worst that could happen is they could just say no or ignore. That's it. So there's no harm in just trying, like, hey, send them a message, ask for a virtual copy, and ask them for advice. Like, hey, what's your role about? What do you do? And that will sort of give you a perspective of how the company is, how did they perform. And when you go into that interview, you would sort of mimic the way that the employees are actually answering and asking questions and working. And that is a really key valuable insight for you to actually get that potential job.